value. You know, it's not about, oh, I need to love myself because I'm valuable too. It's just crap. Just like cancel. Just delete, throw that file away, right? And try to enter it based on the pure fact that you are divine. You're human, but you as a spiritual being, you are eternal. So your personal feelings, like all of that, we need to look at it as a temporary state. It's only what's eternal that matters. And it's connecting to yourself both with that intention and being in that state. And then incarnating that into your human. Because otherwise, you're trying to buy and sell to yourself. Right? You want to prove to yourself that you love you, It's that. And it never works. Whatever you want, when it comes to transactional reality, we want to be loved, we want to be recognized, and we want the symbols of that. Understand that you have to give it to yourself first. That's also how you set yourself free. Whenever you imagine someone else will bring you something, it's part of the value game. And I'll explain this to you. But you need to learn to create everything, because only what has been created by you will bring you growth or expansion on your own path. Nothing from others will bring you true growth and expansion. It has to come from you. We can learn and exchange, but only what you create and build yourself will actually expand you spiritually. The rest is that you get a peek. We can get inspired, we can go into other people's spaces and all of that, but it's just a realization kind of pending. You're not quite there yet, but it's important. But then you have to reinvent it and you have to build and demonstrate that you actually understand it by doing it all yourself. So part of spiritual self-love is to give whatever you want to yourself. Build it. Now, the challenge with this, when it comes to value, is what we have discussed, that we cannot give ourselves value. Only other people can do that. That's a transaction, that we have with other people. In a group, other people decide whether or not you're useful and valuable to them, and that will be your value, right? The market will decide your value and your price. Doesn't matter what you think. Often when we want something from someone else, what happens is that we assume that they operate from a higher level, that they are able to bring us value that we don't have. That's why we want other people to give us stuff or do something for us, because that will be a symbol that we are on that level. Everything we do as humans are part of this kind of transaction. And it's all rituals, right? It all carries symbolism. So, and the thing is, the human brain, as I have explained, we make, at least 100 hierarchical and value-based calculations per second. Everything we do, every thought process is about finding the price and how does that relate to my place in life in regard to others. It's all the brain does, because it's how we survive with other beings. So when we want something from someone, it's because we create the story that it adds more value. And the best exchange in the world is when we can get someone to do something for us. And we can create the story that That's some kind of payment because I'm wonderful. And this is part of the culture today. But we all have it in us because it's basically, you know, the people beneath you bringing you gifts, right? It's that. So when people do things for you that you want them to give your, that sense of entitlement is basically that you have created a sense of value in yourself, but you lack the material validation from the world. And you want that. This is a big part of relationships as well, and the partners we seek and all that. But the point is that it's very difficult to learn to love yourself because transactional love towards yourself is worthless. It's basically you feeling worthless, and then you just like write, a praise tag and you place it in there for it. Yay, I'm valuable. It doesn't work. And the same thing with when you buy something for yourself. You know that it's coming from you, so it's worthless. If it came from someone else, it would prove that you have value. And often, humans, when, for instance, you buy something expensive for yourself, you can feel shame. And the reason is that, genetically speaking, you're trying to fake it. And everyone can see that you're trying to give yourself value, although you know you have no value, because if you had, that would be a gift from someone else. So we can have a shame reaction when we buy something that we actually want, that with this is good. Because from a transaction point of view, you're breaking the rules. And you're then parading yourself as someone of higher value. This is why it's so difficult to learn self-love, because the love we have learned as humans is all transactional. We all go through patches in life where we feel that, we're not quite, slaying it. So we feel that our value is low. And what you can recognize is, it's difficult to start doing good things because you know that will pull you up, but you don't want to because it's not real. So you will have this discussion in your mind, and you've all done it, right? You can recognize that you can kind of want to sit there in your misery. You know that you can do things you like, but you don't want to because it will create no value. It has to come from other people. But that's only the transactional part of it. If you love yourself, you will be able to do all of this. You will create the life you want. You will buy yourself everything you want, if you have the money. And then you will say that's, you're worth it to try to go out there and make the money too. But you will give yourself always the very best because you are the most important person in your life. That's your job. You are both the flower and the gardener. That's both like the most wonderful thing to discover, but also the most frightening thing. Both being the flower and the gardener at the same time. And then we'll look at what we actually do when we know that we're all powerful because we are in fact the gardener. And then we'll look at, what are we doing with ourselves as a flower? But isn't that interesting? Because we're hardwired to think that someone else is the gardener. Being the gardener and growing into that realization, and then wanting intensely to do absolutely everything to make yourself blossom. That's what it's about. But you can't do that for as long as you seek value from other people.